We are about to go live. Hello, everybody. This is Alex with another Disabled Vets Perspective, and this is our special on Inside Veterans Affairs. And with me is Belinda.
Hi, how are y'all?
She's a little nervous, but you know what? I think you guys will show the same love that I have had in the past. All right, let's see who we got on here first. We got Tara. Hey, we got the great douchebag. Yes, the one and only. Fred, welcome. How is my audio, everybody? Are we coming across clearly, loudly, and obnoxiously, or any other comments? Okay, fist up, right on. All right, I got a few of you in here. Okay, I'm perfect. Well, I know, but what about the audio? Is that, I'm trying to figure out the audio, but sounds good. Excellent. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a program that we're going to try to do once a week on Sundays, excluding this next Sunday, because I will be arriving back home Sunday afternoon, and it would be quite a stir to get the studio all put together and get everything ready. So, wanted to do our first pilot episode just to introduce you all to Belinda and let you have a chance to see what we're about. We're going to be going over veterans issues. Specifically in this episode, we're going to be talking about the union that protects the employees of the Veterans Affairs and tends to displace consideration for the patients of the Veterans Affairs. So that's what we're going to be touching on primarily today. But I wanted to start the show off with a little bit of information about contacts. And I'm going to put this information in the bottom under the description as I get a chance after I do all this or go into post-production, like a real TV repairman type of thing. But the White House hotline, one of the most important numbers if you have an issue with the VA, you need to be able to have access to the White House, and there is a program for that. And the phone number for that is 855-948-2311. There are 60 agents on duty, and the phone is answered 24/7. So you will get answered. You will get help. The healthcare, healthcare hotline is 877-222-8387. VA benefits, 800-827-1000. Then another extremely important one is the crisis hotline. And even if you don't need it, you need to have access to that number in case you have a veteran friend or family member that you see is in trouble. And the signs will be there. You just have to notice them. The phone number for that is 1-800-273-8255. And my VA 311 apparently is another information hotline, and that's 844-698-2311. So those are numbers that you'll need. They're going to be at the bottom of my information on every video from here on out, even on my walk and talks. I'll have that in my information section. Want to take a minute, let Belinda introduce herself, tell us a little bit about you and how you became so angry and hostile. Or I'm sorry, that's different. About the VA is what I meant to say.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a veteran, and my husband is a veteran, and I've been
I'm sorry.
and I've been using the VA primarily for healthcare for about 13 years. During this time, I've experienced several
Be nice.
Just mistreatment. I've been mistreated.
Excellent.
I've been mistreated as a person. I've been mistreated as a patient. My husband has been mistreated. He's been ignored.
Not just by me. So
yeah, by the VA clinic and by the VA hospital that we go to. So I just want to try with Alex to bring to light some issues, and maybe if other veterans call or other veterans start writing and expressing what's happened to them, to prove that this isn't just an isolated incident. This isn't just a hothead that is complaining, that a lot of us have the exact same problems.
Yes, we do. I wanted to acknowledge, I saw Zombie Farmer in there, mentioned hitting the like button. I am brand new to this live chat. So what I am going to want to do is I'm going to want to set up some mods so that if people come in here, I understand that veterans are colorful. I am too. I put that all into check when I'm doing these videos because my goal is not to intimidate people or to scare them off with language, and I work on protecting that. But in my live feed, sometimes veterans will get in here and they'll get worked up. And if I put you as a mod, you need to have a little bit of patience. Understand that sometimes the language will be colorful, and if I have to do this, set it up for a adult program and reduce the availability to people under 18, then that will be something I'll have to consider. This is all pretty much just feeling it out at this point, seeing how it goes. First off, anybody on here that wants to be a mod, I can see what I can do. I'm assuming that I just have to touch a name and then see if I can give them a wrench.
I think that says I'll mod for you, buddy. The American.
Yeah, okay. So add moderator. Did I just throw a wrench at you? How about it? Hey, look at that. You're blue. Don't be so blue. Okay, so there's one. Let me see if I don't want to just volunteer people. I want people to do this on their own too. This is after we get this part done, our shows will be a little bit more smooth. This is our first one, so we're trying to get set up a little bit. We'll get into the information that we have here in a minute. Let's see who we got. Oh, of course. I could never forget about Ashley. Absolutely not. And I know DM said that she would do that. I'm still looking to see if I see her. But, Bobby, you had trouble at the Atlanta VA. Buddy, I am not surprised. Atlanta's a little overwhelmed. I've got a gentleman on my subscription list that says that his VA, and I can't be absolutely certain where it is exceptional. And what we want to do is we want to bring some exposure to this so that we can try to get all the VAs to the exceptional level. It's not going to be that hard, but it's going to require a group effort. It's going to require exposure, and the best way to do that is to get information that they tend to try to hide from the public and from the veterans. Do you want to go over? You mentioned the letter that you got today, just conveniently about the.
As we were looking into this, I received a letter today from the VA. My husband and I both received it, and it's about the Mission Act.
Everything's going to be backwards, but
okay. Well, read backwards.
Yes.
About
turn your head
the Mission
upside down
Act.
And
what the Mission Act is in a nutshell, and I don't know it in great details, is so we can go see private doctors. It's so we who, instead of waiting 45 days for a doctor's appointment, our doctor can send us out in town, which I think is a great idea because we need care when we need care. We don't need care on their time schedule.
Exactly. Just adding one point to that, a couple of weeks ago, it's a couple months ago now, it all blurs together. One of my lymph nodes in here swelled up and it went all the way across my throat to the point where I was speaking with mashed potato mouth and not breathing real well. Called my VA during the day and said I needed an emergency walk-in, and they said, okay, excellent. We can get you in 2 months on the 15th. So that is what you face if you are not breathing. So you tend to go to the emergency room and the charade starts because you get to the emergency room, you get your care, you tell them that you're a member of the VA, you give them your VA paperwork, but then you get a bill from the emergency room, and then the VA sends you a letter stating that this has been taken care of, but then you get another bill from the emergency room says that you still owe this money. So that's something I'll be working on. But anyway, continue. You're doing good.
The VA is affiliated with Ascension Hospital Group, which here where we live covers 2 different hospitals that you can go to, and they're outpatient clinics. They're coordinating with the VA here. Oh, sorry.
No, that's right. You're just talking to the flag, and that's fine.
I'm trying to read the
That's
side.
respect.
And they are affiliated with the VA here. So I have used it, and I was able to go in town and have 2 different surgeries done that the VA could not do. They didn't have the doctors to do it. And 2, I didn't want the VA to do it simply. And I told my doctor that and sent me right out in town. But some of the horrible things that need to be corrected at the VA, I think, are those frontline people that we see every day. The ones that
Can I help you?
Yeah, the ones that set your appointment or bring you into the office. I don't understand why they're so
Angry.
They're angry at us.
We are a nasty inconvenience. And that's why they're so angry, because it's just, why are you bothering me? I'm trying to enjoy my money and my
Well, I think
security.
a lot of that can come from their union. The VA has 220,000 plus people that are members of the American Federation of Government Employees Union. And this union wants to destroy, in my opinion, the VA. They don't want you to be able to go out in town. They said in their press release that I have here that we could be in harm's way if they started to send patients out in town. And we kind of took that as a threat.
Brain Dead New Yorker says the VA nursing homes are garbage, and that's absolutely correct. I've heard horror stories, but I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, but
if I see something specific that says that rings a bell, I want to jump on that when I see it, because they are pathetic.
Yeah, I haven't looked much into the nursing homes. Of course, I've only seen the news that talks about the poor veteran that was ridden with bed sores and had to, be taken to the hospital and then subsequently died. But this union is lobbying with all these people behind it, which is, like I said, more than 220,000 veteran administration employees, to keep us from getting care. They're more concerned about their job
Security.
Yeah, than they are about getting quality people, paying a quality wage. They just want to protect their own, what do you call them?
Well, I would call them useless, but I'm sure there's more of a technical term.
I can't think of that, what that would be, but
the system is absolutely broken. It is designed to protect and secure the positions of the useless idiots that they use as frontmen or women to almost work as a barrier between the veteran and the Veterans Administration. It's their first line of defense. Once you get past them, then you go into other issues where you get delays and antagonistic treatment. My physician will sit down and he looks at a computer like this while I am sitting somewhere over in the left on the other side of the room. And for the first 5 minutes of my 10-minute appointment, he says not a word and just starts filling in the boxes, all the mandatory things that he has to fill in on his computer. And then he turns around, so are you having any problems? And I have 5 minutes to break down 6 months worth of issues, because you don't get seen more than twice a year. In some cases, once a year. So you have to remember, well, that one time I was vomiting and I had blood in it or whatever, and I wasn't able to get in. You got to remember all the details from 6 months of life that happened between your visits. In some cases, I guess, civilian doctors, when they see civilian people, maybe every 6 months is fine, but veterans have been exposed to things that are just epic. We've had shots given to us that are purely experimental. We've been exposed to chemicals. These burn pits is a good example. What you got?
I have a story about a TBI patient.
My father-in-law has TBI. Okay. Well, in my description is my email address. And with your permission, I could put your email address.
Mhm.
And what you can do is, and I would encourage it, please write to us an email of your story. And we will do everything we can to get it exposed, and we'll research what we can about it, people behind it, whatever. So, yeah, if you work with us, we'll work with you. We'll get this thing cranking up, and then we'll make sure to duck and look around our shoulders all the time as we walk around. But like I've told you before, I am not intimidated. I have no fear, so I will pursue this without anxiety. Anyway, so
Someone on here just mentioned that their father-in-law has a TBI. I have a terrible story. My husband and I were at the VA hospital. He had an appointment, and there was a young man that had a TBI, and he was overwhelmed with the sights, the sounds. He was confused, and he had his paper with him, and he walked up to a desk to ask for help. And the lady told him that she wasn't going to help him, that he was in the wrong place, and shoot him away. And so then I took it upon myself to help this guy get where he needed to be. And those are the type of employees that the VA does not need to protect with this American Federation of Federal Employee Union. Unions have served their purpose, I think. And I think this union is so big and so large when their main focus is to protect subpar employees and not care about our health and well-being. There's a problem.
Exactly. Well, you mentioned that we were looking at signs today during that protest, and you mentioned a specific one.
I don't think I
thought it started with a B or something.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it.
But what these people do is they protest the threat of the VA becoming
during weekdays when they're supposed to be at work.
When they're supposed to be working, you see them protesting, but they're concerned about the privatization of the VA, and it has to become more well managed. And I think all of you know that if it says government on the beginning of it, it's not going to be well managed. It's going to be hopeless. It may start out pretty and look all fancy and everything because they can dump a bunch of money on it, but eventually it's another government agency that will fail. It will become too bloated. It'll have too much money hemorrhaging from it, and it will fail like every other system. So privatization is necessary for the success of the VA. Personally, I think it needs to be obliterated, absolutely torn down to the ground and restructured and redone completely. And while they're redoing it, I think that they should have a program for veterans to receive care outside until it is reorganized.
One of the ways to do that is to hire quality people. And
sorry, something much.
Alex and I were looking up the wages of doctors, which is all public information on va.gov. And a new doctor with no experience within the VA is paid $104,000 a year.
Level one.
Level one. And the max that they can make is $225,000 or $245,000 a year.
With the exception of specialists.
With
but that's just
your primary care
primary
doctor.
Care that's their levels.
And we were talking about ways, because you have to have a solution. You have to, when you see a problem, you have to come up with a solution. And one of the ones that Alex and I came up with was to maybe people that graduate medical school, they've done their intern.
Up with that. That's brilliant. And I give you 100% credit, but continue.
They have done their internship. They've passed all their exams, and they're ready to hang up their shingle. I feel the VA should recruit them.
I think shingle is the law.
Offer to pay pay their to pay their tuition, to pay their school debt, their school loans, in return for so many years of service.
Yep.
And of course, if they back out of that, then the VA would pursue them to recoup their money. But then we would get frontline doctors that are new.
Coming right out of medical school.
Coming right out of medical school. I'm not saying getting rid of the seasoned doctor or getting rid of the
you have chief residents. You have to have somebody that can monitor the little people. But the idea is brilliant because a physician is not going to go anywhere until he gets an accredited hospital that will bring him in and allow him or her to do their residency out of their medical school. So, yeah, brilliant. And they still need a structure. They still need admin, but
there's too much bloat.
Yeah.
There's too much bloat in the VA.
Work trying to cut it back. But
it's that pizza.
Yeah, well, the pizza was good. So,
but I feel there's too much bloat.
Yeah.
And with the Mission Act, if they would cut out some of these non-essential employees, the ones that you see hanging around the counter, the ones that I've taken pictures of at the counter where you check in, wrapped up in a blanket, sound asleep.
And as we get better at this show, without fear, we are going to post these things right up here. So when we catch things on camera and we can get to the point where we know how to add things, and I think Jim's going to help me out with some of that, but we'll see. Anyway, we will get to that point and we will be able to start exposing this stuff, because when it's out, then they can't say, oh, well, that's not true. As long as it's just me and Belinda communicating, they can say, oh, well, they didn't, that's just a lie they said. But documents and things are accessible on the things that we say. And we will also post photographs and make sure that stuff gets exposed. Hello, History Beat. Good to see you. I've introduced Belinda to you, and I think she's going to enjoy your history shows. I really do. Let me take just a second, say, hey, Shonda. Ashley, you're doing a great job, always. Let's see. Jervis, good to see you. Tara, I need a magnifying glass. Let's see who's out in Wonder World, or wherever they call that. The American, I appreciate your efforts. Anyway, I'm glad to see all of you guys here. I know that this is a beginning show, and I think that it will grow. I would like to know if you have specific subject matter that you might find interesting. You can either put it in the chat or you can put it in the email. I have a page open on my other computer it's the Office of Public and Intergovernmental Affairs, and it's the Veterans Headlines, Veterans News. This is on, what do they call that? VA Office of Public and Intergovernmental Affairs news releases. So I guess that's what you would put in your headlines. But it's an interesting source. It's got the headlines, and each one is followed by a story of such. And I've run out of room. For example, it says White House VA hotline surpasses 250,000 calls from veterans community. So 60 agents are getting burned up right now, but they're doing their jobs. 195 calls since it went live in June. That seems like low. Trump as part of his administration commitment to reforming the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, as of May 14th, the White House VA hotline has answered more than 250,195 calls since it went live June 1st, 2017. So that White House hotline is working. So if you have a problem with the VA, you need to go there, go to that number and call it. You got to have the coffee. It's that time of day. Some people say, oh, excuse me, will I take a drink? Hey, if we don't drink, we're going to swivel up and, look more wrinkled than this. So I'm drinking when I need a drink. But it's just coffee. No vodka this time. I've cut way back, like none. So I'm almost done with it. VA launches community. Let me see if I can read that with my glasses. VA launches community-focused public health model to prevent veteran suicide. Extremely important issue, but I think that they are doing that one the wrong way. Um, you guys know that I had a cousin of mine a couple months ago that went to the VA to the psychiatric assistance facility, and he sat in the office in the waiting room for 6.5 hours. At the end of that point, after not even acknowledging that he existed all day long, they came out and they told him, "We will not be able to see you today. You're going to have to come back." Well, he went home that night and he hung himself. That is unacceptable. There has to be a way that there can be a triage like you would do in an emergency room. And, some people, I totally respect what everybody goes through mentally, but there are some people that are having a bad day, and there are some people that are in a dark place. And through triage, you can find the difference. If a person's having a bad day,
if they've gone to seek help,
yeah,
they want help.
Right. But there's got to be some kind of triage at that point. I have suggested a veterans program where if a veteran calls us the crisis hotline, and that hotline always says, "Your call is important to us. Please leave your name and number, and our veteran assistant will get back with you shortly." Well, by the time you hang up the phone, it's too late. And I went over this in another video. But if they had a program where if that hotline was called, it would never go to a message. It would immediately go to the phone of somebody in that local area, and it would ring that person's phone. And I am working with Matt Gates, and we are working on a pilot program for the Pensacola area. And if it's successful, then we will be doing it nationwide. But what it is vets rescuing vets. The call would happen, and if a veteran needed to come, or 3 o'clock in the morning, the veteran needs help, you get up, you put something on, you go get that person. They don't have to go to the hospital necessarily. They just need to get out of the place that's making them think in dark places. So you remove them from the environment that's making them think. And that little bit can save their life. And then you can schedule an appointment to, hey, I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go down there. We're going to talk to them over there at the psych department. You take that person on your wing and you don't let go of them until you know they're back in the light, so to speak. So that's my goal. But anyway, that's my little rant about that headline. The next one, VA's National Cemeteries to host Memorial Day ceremonies. And I think that's outstanding. I think a lot of our fallen are being forgotten. It's too easy to just say, "Oh, well, it's not me. I'm not really worried about it." So anytime we can acknowledge our fallen, give them some recognition, and understand their sacrifices appreciated by everybody, that's important to me. Let's see, veterans potential loan fee waives. That one I don't care about. I'm more about the hospital issues, but that one's about veterans home loans. But again, everything that I'm talking about can be looked up. If you want to look it up, that's fine. If you want to just hear about it, that's what I'm for. And I'm more than happy to do it.
If we all educate ourselves and we start talking to our local politicians, we can't be stopped. We're 9 million people plus.
And we got all the patriots. There's a massive patriot movement forming.
Yeah.
And now you're a part of it, and you can't get away.
Oh, yes, I can. Run bar.
I do not know why we went out of focus. But I don't know. This is just, it's live TV. You can't really, let's see if I can reset it by doing that. That was a high five, by the way. I'm sure it'll reset itself. But are we completely out of focus with you guys? Yeah, put your binoculars on. Let your voices be heard. Absolutely. And that's what we're hopefully
what
starting.
Ashley said.
Uh-oh, I got you now. I see you, DM.
Beans, that's a good word, Ashley.
Bam! DM thought she could escape. I saw her prowling in there, so now she's a mod too. Hey, Fred, how are you? Anyway, give me some thoughts in the chat. Yeah, a little fuzzy, but I think that's her. I'm probably more out of focus myself. Am I? Well, you know what? Like I said, it's live TV. I'm going to cover the lens.
Oh,
Let's
there it
see.
goes.
All right, just had to reset get the camera to quit being a jerk. Oh, okay. We can hear you. Good. That's a positive thing. Um, anything else that you guys want me to talk about or want Belinda to talk about tonight? Um, just thumbs up or
I don't know what that means.
thank you. It's thumbs up. We love you. Thumbs up. Thank you. I find them to be
Yes, they do, Ashley.
things because it fit the
I'm going to start
definition.
using that word. They're a fiend.
Yeah, but I mean, it really is pathetic. So exposure is the key.
And we have to band together. We're a huge group of people. And if we all work towards common goals, what's important to me might not be important to Alex or important to one of you. But if we all start working together, we
Female
can solve.
reproductive rights is not my business. I mean,
Exactly.
That's going to be your thing.
Thank you very much.
But I will say that I absolutely oppose abortion. You guys know that. Absolutely. 100% save the babies. That's where my business becomes their business in female reproductive
Yeah, well,
rights.
and women in the military have different issues.
Right.
There's MST along with your, PTSD. There's women are treated differently because we are different, but some of the
Really?
way we are,
That's just weird.
I know, but some of the ways we're treated is inappropriate.
Absolutely.
And those need to be brought forward. We need to be treated with respect. But I'm not one of these women that every woman has had a bad experience with a man. I don't believe it.
Give them time. No.
Well,
I mean,
I don't believe a lot of the people with the Me Too movement. I'm not a fan of that. What's that chick's name? Molino?
Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, I
What
think
an
she's a
idiot.
nutcase. But that's from being in the military. And that's from knowing what a joke is and what harassment is.
Right.
And that goes to our society today, I think, with the thin-skinned people. But
Well, here's the reality. When you're in a unit, that the only thing that is closer than that unit is your blood family. And the women that served alongside of me were tough as nails. We never cut them any slack. And
you're right, history B.
we were
Sorry.
absolutely, anytime you want to say something, I'm just saying that the women were equal to us. We never looked down on them. We never thought they were less of us. We pushed all of them, and we pushed ourselves to be better than the rest. So that was important. So, do you have anything else?
No, but I think everyone should go to the American Federation Government Employees Union website, read what they're about. They're heavily into politics. They're with voter rights.
Okay.
They don't think that people need ID.
There's that racketeering thing again. I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to bring that up. I bring it up just regularly on my videos because I'm disgusted with government mandated racketeering. This union is another example of that. The government pays for the wages of the people that work for the VA. The veterans that are the employees of the Veterans Affairs pay dues to this union. They in turn hire a lobbyist to go lobby on behalf of the Veterans Affairs to get pay increases.
Not the veterans.
Not the veterans, no, but the employees of the Veterans Affairs to better their lives, but not to do anything to better the lives of the vets themselves. So, you still here? Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
Hi, there
Sorry.
you are. Welcome back.
Okay.
No, you just keep coming, just falling out of the side. But she's trying to escape, is what it is. But we're getting through this. You're doing great. I know
Thank you.
you came in nervous, but there are several ladies on here that want to do videos and keep saying they're a little nervous to take the plunge. And I'll tell you, once you get out here and you just start doing it, you see the love that you're going to get from the Patriots. We all care a lot about people getting the message out. And I encourage all of you to, if you have a point to make, get on here and make the point. We'll support you 100%. But Normally, this show is going to be an hour. This one is sort of a just a launch off and see how things go. The next episode of Inside of Veterans Affairs will be this Sunday. What is the date of next Sunday? Anybody at all?
Anybody?
Anyone at all?
Anybody over there? Stand by.
We have our
Hold on.
checking squad all in action. Look, we're all looking at devices. What the hell date is it? Who has a calculator?
The 2nd?
Okay, Sunday the 2nd. That works out perfectly. So Sunday the 2nd, same time, 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central, where I live. She lives in Eastern, so I'll be talking to her in the future. She'll be talking to me in the past. We'll be doing it remotely after that, but I drove a whole 5 hours and suffered through all this to come over here and sit side by side with her. I forgot you were still there. I'm sorry. Anyway.
I'm glad you did.
Yes, I am too. It's been great. But I'm going to go ahead and end this one at, I think we're at 35 minutes. Yeah, 36 minutes. So unless you guys, I'm going to give you a second. Let me see if you have something else that you want me to go over before I duck out. Deplorable Bobby, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That means a lot. Appreciate you. I've been ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Jarvis 346.
Yep, old Jarvis. Yep. All right. Well, I thank every single one of you for joining me over here, joining Belinda, and we look forward to our next episode, and we'll get some more research going and bring up some more subjects. And until then, you know what I always say, stay in the fight. Wait.